This is my week 6, chapters 8 and 9 reflection video instead of paper video this week. I'm going to focus on chapter 9, on the nonverbal communication. This is not my first communications course. I'm a communications minor, so I've taken multiple courses for my past few years here at USF. It's something that every communications book has talked about is nonverbal communication, because nonverbal communication is just as important as verbal communication. In the book, or the chapter, talk about all the different types of nonverbal communication. I'm not going to go over all of them because it'd be a really long video, and I have a cold, and talking kind of hurts right now. So I'm just going to cover a few of them. The first one is attire. When you meet somebody, the first thing you notice about them is the way they dress. You can tell a lot about a person from the way they dress, like their job, or if they're a student, because students tend to dress more down, while if you have a job, you tend to dress more professional. And the text says, under the attire subsection, that clothing can be used to tell others about economic status, educational level, social position, current status, occupation, interests, public and private affiliations, and the like. And then it goes on to say that Ross points out the things that people say or are forced to say through their clothing are thus above all statements on individuals' identity. So that kind of goes back to our previous chapter on identity, which is all about last week, which is what we learned last week. And when we dress and when we go out in public, we are making a statement through our clothes about who we are. That's kind of through the identity part. And that's kind of cool to know about. Another thing with attire is that dress is a symbolic language. It is one of the many ways in which people create and exchange meanings in communication. It helps to separate group members from non-members and replace the individual in a social organization. So along with attire, in high school I was in FCCLA all 4 years, and I was on the officer team. And whenever we would go out to conferences, we all wore the same thing with the FCCLA logo on our shirts. And we had to dress very professional. We had guidelines we had to follow. And we all dressed like that whenever we went out. We were showing that we were all part of a group. So we were all together, as opposed to just going out with some friends and we all just wear different clothes. We didn't all have to be matchy like we did when we went out with an organization. So that was another way we were showing our nonverbal communication to other people. The next one is posture. Posture is another part of nonverbal communication, and it can send messages. Posture can be a sign of whether we are paying attention, the level of status in the encounter, if people are friends or strangers, if they like or dislike each other, and it can provide a variety of other information about the relationship. So one thing I remember from one of my other communication courses is the distance we stand when talking to people. It's like there's the public space, the personal space, and the intimate space. They grow closer together or further apart. And when you're with a group of people, you can really tell a lot about if they're really good friends, they'll stand close together. But if they're like in a group setting and you're just getting to know each other, you'll stand further apart, more of that public space instead of that closer personal space. And then there's gestures too. People use our hands when we talk. And by waving, placing hands on hips, folding the arms, scratching the head, biting fingernails, pointing, making a fist, shaking a finger, are all examples of gestures used when communicating. And the text used a few examples. So one of the examples the text used was the thumbs up gesture. So in the United States, we use the thumbs up to say everything's good or okay. But in Australia, Iran, and Nigeria, it can be seen as a rude gesture. It's like if you did this, if you're in any of those countries, don't do that. It's considered rude. But in the United States, it's like, yeah, good job. Pointing to someone is how we give directions. Like, oh, you want to go here? Well, first you go out on this road, then you turn. And we use our finger to give directions to point. But that can be considered rude. In China, pointing is taken as a rude sign, but Germans point with the little finger, while in Japan, pointing is done with the entire hand. So it depends on what culture you're in and what the protocol is for pointing. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes you use more than just your finger, you use your whole hand. And so that was interesting. So that just shows that there are all sorts of nonverbal communication cues out there, and we just have to learn how to use the communication skill so we don't offend somebody by accident in another culture. And then we can also use it here when communicating with others as well. So that's my week 6 reflection paper video.